Good morning. Um, this is the explainer video for my latest cut up solo pamphlet. This one is unlike the others and it was suggested on YouTube. Now, the previous um, cut up solos were very genre specific. There was a Lovecraftian one, there was the Conan one, and so on. And I'm going to do more of those. But what I was asked for was, say, a dialogue one. So just to help with, when you got an NPC talking and you want to put words in their mouth. So that's what this one is about, and the next one as well. Now, this one is fantasy dialogues, and it contains the chopped up dialogue from these six works, which are sort of kind of classic fantasy: Wizard of Oz, King Arthur, Robin Hood, Irish folk tales. Yeah, so there's a mix of different texts in here, and what you get is, you know unlike the other ones, I haven't included an oracle system. Uh, I just don't see this as being standalone. But you could certainly mix and match it in with, say, the Conan book, or probably not Dracula so much, unless you wanted to play it. This does feel much more medieval sort of time period. So there's a little preamble about the cut ups, how the actual cut ups work, and examples in here. Um, and then we get straight into the actual cut ups. Now, the cut ups themselves, the shortest one is I. Um, the longest ones are almost entire monologues. And if I roll through you here, that goes on to the next page. Yeah, and these. Now, funny enough, I nearly took these out thinking they were too long, but they proved to be some of the most useful, because what you can do with these is you can just redline the bits you don't want, almost as if you're doing a blackout poetry where you just scarred loads of bits. But this, in a single entry, you get quite a lot of material that you can work with. So I've left them in. There aren't. Most of it is individual sentences, lines, exclamations. The other thing you will find in here, and I'm just looking for one now. Right. So these are all spoken dialogue until you get to 148 here, which is answered Robin biting back a smile. Now, when you get that, you can obviously change the name to suit your NPC, but these little bolted on kind of how it's said. Let's see what the next one like that is. Oh, that's just a simple said. She continued, which implies that there's going to be more. So you would extend the uh, conversation. So I've left those in. Um, I just think they, rather than when you sort of grab a sample of dialogue, having these little bits to put in kind of gives you a chance to bolt two pieces together, and create something that is more continuous by having the joining text. And here said the Black Knight curtly. It gives you a tone. So I've left those in. It is mostly dialogue, but there is a mix. So if I habitually grab 20 snippets at a time, you will get some in here most of the time. So this is the actual uh, sort of the cut up section, the snippets. They're not really cut up because they are in their entirety, but they are. It's been thoroughly randomised. It's multiple books, and each one's been randomised, duplicates removed to get the greatest variety. There are 2,000. So let's just do a quick sample. So that's right. Well, that was nice and responsive, wasn't it? 397. So um, 397 would give you. It is all I will tell you. That's a good one from the story point of view. Now, I typically when I'm using the book take this one and the next four to make a block of five. So that is all I would tell you. If that is so, do thou pay for Kai the tale that is his due. I give the bond upon my life. O Chabu, thou made everything help thy servant. So you got an odd mix in there. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, that's the five. Um, I think the Kai ones are from the Irish folk tales. Um, so you're going to get a mix here. Now, in addition to the PDF, you get spreadsheets. This is the Excel version, and you get 20 in here. Now, some of those really long ones, can you see here, is extending off. But if you click on that and wrap text, it does wrap within the cells, and it doesn't re-randomize when you're doing that. So you can grab these, highlight the whole lot, paste them as text into your text editor, and then discard what you want. So look, most of these, all of those are actual spoken text. In here, one is a how it was said. That one is entirely spoken text, and the top block is entirely spoken text. F9 re-randomizes. So there's one, two, three, four, five, six. Six out of this 20 have the kind of stage direction element to it. And we can wrap text, and I'm pretty sure that is going to be if there's lions mentioned, that is the lion from Wizard of Oz. He's one in here. None of the others is too long there, so yeah, so that's what you're guessing. There's 2,000 snippets in the PDF. There's 11,610 piece of dialogue in the spreadsheets, so it gives you a decent amount of variety. The next cut up solo dialogue book will be H.P. Lovecraft. There are enough public domain H.P. Lovecraft books to actually get up into that kind of 10,000 samples, and that will give you a very different written style. So if I'm mentioning this now because the two most popular cut up solo booklets I've done so far are Conan and H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft is probably going to overtake Conan within a month or two. So there is a real interest in Lovecraft. If that is your style, if you want that kind of dark horror element, this probably isn't the right one for you, but in a week or so, I hope to have a Lovecraft one, um, which should be, far more interesting, for that genre. But you I was asked for these. I said they would take a bit more work because obviously I'm rather than just taking a whole text and turning it into 5-word snippets. Here I'm had to extract the text. Um, this is dialogue. Another one I was asked for was encounters or combat. Those will be harder to build. So I am now going to work in the immediate future on 2 levels. I'm going to try and do ever broader genres in the basics, cut up snippets, and I will try and mix and match books together to build dialogue to broad genres such as fantasy and horror, and then moving on. I want to do a sci-fi one as well. So it'll be at Strata, and while in the background, while all this is happening, I'll be trying to build one which will have medieval battles. So there'll be all the snippets will be about waving swords and battle axes and um, such, and then in the different genres there'll be um, sort of different kinds of texts, and this will all be about mixing and matching the snippets and the booklets to give you an ever greater range of texts from outside yourself to add in to non-authoring games. I fully understand that there were more techniques in non-authoring, but it would I'm not entirely sure how I could do Blackout solo as booklets you could take off screen. The only way I could possibly do that would be grab all the black out a page, take the words, put them together as a mini word cloud in a PDF, but that's going off the point a bit. So yeah, this is the explainer. Let me just bring the PDF back up again. As I said, there's 2,000. I've called it part one and part two. Um, so you spend some time using part one, then move to part two, so you're less likely to get repetition. Um, there is um, a little bit of an example where I start with snippets from the PDF, then more from the uh, spreadsheet, including a long one there, and then I put myself in a situation where I put this conversation together to get an answer and you know go on from there. It's very short this time. It's not like a full-on solo play opening scene because I didn't have the other kinds of snippets available. So that's it. Don't print it out. It's 266 pages. Use the spreadsheet if I would suggest. But it's this I've actually no these using a PDF reader on your phone or tablet. These work quite well because it's not too much text on one screen, so you can zoom in and see them. So if you want to get away from the computer, they do work on uh, mobile on small screens. So that's it. Thank you.